Hello, everyone. What do you do if you have a person on a bicycle, and it's already suspicious, I guess, right? And they admit to having drugs in their person, but won't let you search them? What do you do? Can you search them? Do you have to let them go? Should you arrest them? What if you don't want to arrest them? You just want to cite and release? I'm going to answer those questions. My name is Anthony Bandiero, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing you another roadside chat. Okay, this question comes from an officer in Dallas, Texas. So we have we stop a person for riding a bike with no lights at night, and he's on a public roadway. So far, so good. He actually admits that he has a meth pipe in his pocket. Let's say he does not give his consent, right, to go into his pocket, but he already admitted that he has this meth pipe. Can we go into his pocket to retrieve the meth pipe, or do we have to get a warrant? Do we have to let him go? Are we supposed to arrest him? What's the advice here? Okay, so let's establish some ground rules here. The first one is that some of you guys might be thinking motor vehicle exception. Well, maybe, right? But motor vehicle exception, maybe because it applies to bicycles. There is a case called People versus Allen, California Appellate Court, and it's from a case from 2000 where they applied the motor vehicle exception to bicycles. Okay. The problem here, though, is number one is that the evidence is not in the bicycle, right? In the Allen case, they found the drugs in the handlebars. But here, we don't want to search the bicycle. We want to search him. And we also know from a case called DeRye that the motor vehicle exception, even if it did apply here, probably not, but even if it did apply here, it wouldn't apply to people, right? People are they have greater protections in a car. And the reasons why I say that it probably wouldn't apply here is because, again, the probable cause is that he has methamphetamine on his person. There's actually no reason to believe he has drugs in the bicycle. So regardless, let's move on. The next thing is, if you're going to search a person, you have to have a recognized exception unless you have their consent. Number one is search incident to arrest. I guess my first question is, if they say no, and you have PC, right? This is like, I call this verbal PC, right? Do you have a reason, a fair probability that the person has contraband on their person right now? Absolutely. I mean, if you want to go around and tell the cops, hey, by the way, I got a kilo of cocaine in my backpack, I mean, you're going to have to answer for that, right? I mean, there's going to be consequences for telling a police officer that you're committing a crime. The police officer is allowed to take you at face value, unless it's completely ridiculous. But the point is, that is PC. And the next thing is, can we arrest that person? Well, if we can arrest that person, if they don't want to give us consent, we say, all right, well, fine, you're under arrest. That's the best way to deal with this issue, is just take them to jail. I mean, that's what I would do if I could. Well, Anthony, what happens if you search them and you don't find anything? And they start laughing. Ha, 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 ha. I just set you up for a lawsuit, right? You're going to get sued. I'm going to own your house. Well, you're also going to own the maintenance and everything else. But besides the point, look, he ain't laughing all the way to the bank. This is not going to be a violation of his rights. If him admitting to a crime that you believed, you had reason to believe is true, right? You didn't think he was making this all up. And then you have probable cause, right? Now you need physical evidence, right, to actually prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But as far as PC goes, it's a low standard. So I would arrest and do a search incident to arrest. Anthony, in Dallas, we're not arresting people for meth pipes. If I brought somebody to jail for nothing more than a meth pipe, I'm going to be written up, right? Okay, fine. Call it exigency. The point is that if you're not going to take the person to jail, it's not reasonable to wait on the side of a road for a telephonic warrant or whatever it's going to be. Search them, find the evidence, cite them, release them, whatever you're going to do, whatever enforcement action you're going to take. Then in that report, talk about due to exigent circumstances, because the person was not going to be arrested. He was going to be released. I could recover the evidence and then so forth, right? Courts should agree with you that is actually exigency. If they don't, then they're basically telling you to wait on the side of the road for, in many places, 2 hours or so while you get a warrant. That is, to me, unreasonable, and I think a lot of courts would agree. Okay, but that's what we're going to have here. I'll put some verbiage on this in the description. If you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, share with your friends, And also, don't forget that we have weekly webinars. These webinars are off the hook. Join hundreds of fellow officers around the country, prosecutors and so forth, while we learn more case law. These webinars are free. They come with a certificate. And even if you can't physically join because the time does not work out for you, sign up anyway. And I'll send you a copy to watch the video either way. Okay? Okay, until next time, my friends, you stay safe.